Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some Path of Exile 2 discussion. Welcome to Teaser Season for patch 0.4.0. Today, we got a little bit of information, and I'm just going to be declaring this day one, the official start of Teaser Season. I could be wrong on that. We don't know exactly what Grinding Gear Games' schedule is going to be for revealing information. What we do know, though, is that 7 days from now, we're going to be getting a whole lot of information about this patch, because that is when the main Grinding Gear Games live event is on. That's going to be the live stream where they'll reveal a whole lot of information. What do we get today? Grinding Gear Games put up a 12-odd second video, followed by about 20 seconds of back matter, that is just a thematic teaser for the league. They've called this the Fate of the Vaal League teaser. That's the video name on YouTube, and that's actually quite important because that clarifies what exactly we're seeing here. You may have already noticed the 0.4.0 expansion is called The Last of the Druids. Now we have this Fate of the Vaal League teaser. What we're seeing here is something like what happened with 0.3.0. In 0.3.0, we had the Third Edict expansion. The Third Edict expansion was the fourth act, the replacement of Cruel difficulty with the interludes, and also a number of less significant changes to the base game. At the same time that the Third Edict expansion launched, we got Rise of the Abyssal, which was the introduction of Kulamak as a new boss, and also all of the in-map Abyss events, Abyssal crafting, all those sorts of good things. So, what we're going to be getting in 0.4.0 is Last of the Druids as the new expansion, that's like the Third Edict content, and at the same time, Fate of the Vaal is going to be the new equivalent of the Rise of the Abyssal content. So this is going to be additional content that's added at the same time, but that this is going to be more of a temporary addition to the game that will then get reworked before it goes into the core game. Now, what's in this video, you might be asking? This is definitely worth watching. I'll put a link to it down in the description below, but it is the lore figure Atziri from Path of Exile, who in Path of Exile 1 you actually get to fight. She's a side boss that used to be really difficult, but has become easier as characters have gotten more and more powerful as the game has gotten older. But you can also see hints of Atziri in Path of Exile 2's Act 3. When you travel back in time to the Vaal civilization, you'll see a whole bunch of NPCs supplicating themselves to Atziri there. Now, this is a different version of Atziri to what we see in Path of Exile 1. We only see her through her own mirror, and we don't get a clear view of her, and that mirror becomes very much corrupted towards the end of this video. But what we know is that she is somewhat based upon the real-world historical figure Countess Elizabeth Bathory. So it's editing GOG here. I knew for certain that Elizabeth Bathory was the inspiration for Atziri, but one thing I thought I'd better fact-check was whether Elizabeth Bathory actually did it or not. And it turns out there's some historical debate about that. Some people think that yes, she was a horrendous serial killer. Other people think that no, it was just a witch hunt. So, don't know either way, but Atziri is based upon some of the worst legends that developed out of exaggerations of what Elizabeth Bathory did. So Atziri orders huge amounts of Vaal to sacrifice themselves, and then quite literally bathes in their blood in order to try and drain their youth somehow. She is absolutely obsessed with appearing as young as possible, and with being as beautiful as possible, and she is quite willing to kill anyone that she needs to in order to achieve these goals. So, not the nicest person in the world, but she's a significant lore figure in Path of Exile 1 and 2. And it looks like she'll be playing a significant role in Path of Exile 2's Fate of the Vaal League, and it's likely that the Fate of the Vaal content will end up being a permanent part of Path of Exile 2, but that it'll be available in a more intense form during the 0.4.0 expansion. The Fate of the Vaal League will launch at the same time as the Last of the Druids expansion. They'll both apply immediately if you start a new character inside the Fate of the Vaal League. These new characters won't be able to trade with existing characters. You won't be able to share items from your existing characters and the like. It'll be a fresh start. Or alternately, if you prefer, you can continue playing your character in Early Access Standard, but then you'll only have access to the Last of the Druids content and not the Fate of the Vaal content. Anyways, this is a short one because there's not a lot of information yet. Hopefully we get a bit more in the future, but I'm going to leave it there. May your Vaal orbs have interesting results.